What's up, everybody? My name is BMax78, aka Brandon. Today we're playing some more Forza Motorsport 25th anniversary, finishing out Motorsport 3, and then we're going to go back to the open challenge and do the B class, which is actually not going to be that bad. I will say this has been so far so fun. If you missed Saturday I finished up Forza Motorsport or F1 2024 career mode for season 2. I won the driver championship, back-to-back championships. Got close in the constructors, but didn't have the greatest season. That's in turn to get ready for F1 2025, which will come out tomorrow. And then this weekend, we're going to go back to Doom and Clay Obscure. I'll probably do Clay Obscure on Saturday just to play more of it, get more of that into it. So we'll have some more time with that. I will say it's been interesting because Doom's been really fun. Like, I played a good amount of Doom the other night, and it was just like, on Saturday, it's just like, okay, Doom's getting good, Clay Obscure's getting good, a lot of these games are getting good. So, like, we have a lot to come out to look forward to. But let's get into the spirit of Forza Motorsport 3. When next race is Silverstone. The full course, actually. Only 4 laps, so not a long race in the Audi. I don't think there's anything I can change right now. Nope. I'm at the point where I'm at. But as we do this, we'll talk about the races from yesterday. I was going to do this the other day, but I kind of just rested and kind of just did some other things. But, yeah, I will say the Monaco race, not great. It was kind of boring. In the sense, like, the racing wasn't boring. I don't think the racing was bad. It was just the way they did the whole...
Without much elevation change. With multiple straights and high G-force corners, you will spend about 70% of each lap at full throttle.
With the way they did the whole mandatory 2-stop, which teams ended up just trying to wait to the first safety car or first VSC. And it's funny, if you listen to like a couple podcasts like the P1 podcast and a couple other podcasts, everybody thought this was not great. And even with the P1 podcast, they talked about, I think they, and I kind of largely agree, and I kind of see it from when Mortaletto crashed, and even when, I think it was somebody else that crashed, they didn't want to throw a safety car. So they tried to do a VC to let them keep racing, but if somebody got a puncture or something, oh, you have to throw one. So it's kind of like, hope they didn't want to throw a safety car because they knew what teams would do. Half the field, the back half of the field would probably pit. The front half of the field would just ultimately wait. And then, like, Lando controlled the race. I'll say Lando did control the race. He was doing a good job. He got out front. He locked up a little bit, but nothing out of the ordinary. There's not, even with the smaller cars they're getting in 2026, I don't think that's going to fix Monaco. Because Monaco still has the weird thing of, like, their racing is not strong enough for what they would have to do for the cars. But we'll see. Like, I think there's a balancing act. But that balancing act is more or less, oh, do this, you know. And maybe you get some better racing overall, but yeah, the racing was kind of like, eh. But I think there's not a good way to fix Monaco. I think Monaco is just that one track where you could do a 2-stop or you could really just do a 1-stop. And the 1-stop last year when they did it was because you had the red flag at the beginning. And the red flag basically made everybody stop, fulfilled the tire requirement, fulfilled everything else, and then the race was there to the end. Nobody had to pit again. And I know a lot of people talked about, like, should they take Monaco off the calendar? I think eventually I think it should be off the calendar, but there's nothing you can do to really fix that. Outside of, and this is actually a point I thought about, the little chicane coming out of the tunnel, just make that a straight on. Make that a straight on to where you can come out of there straight on instead of going around a little corner. And it's less likely, that's probably one of the better overtaking spots on the course. Extend DRS, maybe do something with that. You have the active arrow next year for the front wing and the rear wing, so you have some other places you can maybe pass on Monaco. It's one of the few races where qualifying matters more than anything else, which qualifying is good. Qualifying in Monaco has always been good, so. But yeah, it was kind of not really a race per se. It was more of a just kind of going around the parade, looking, not really doing much. And the only time you had really any passing when you're passing black markers or blue flags. So it's kind of like, okay, cool, blue flag stuff happened. We'll see how much that will affect people down the way. Let's get into the race. Let's see. Four laps. I don't need that much gas. Go 5. Okay. I will say the other thing too. I think the way the qualifying ended up playing out with some little impeding things and other things, I think ultimately if you would have done it the way I thought of doing it, I think you can either have, because the other thing that happened, there was a lot of team gameplay. So like Albon made a gap for Sykes to get both his pit stops done, which was kind of good and bad. You're playing the game, so it's like, what are you going to do at that point? You're playing the game that's been around for a long time. Ultimately too, if you're going to play that game, they know it, so it's kind of like all the teams knew that game was going to be played. You can't stop it. But I also think too, I think the thing with Monaco also, you had to do pit stops. You had to still use 2 different sets of tires, but then you had to use a third set anyway. So most teams kept both their hards or both their mediums, and then just had an extra hard or medium. Or in the case of Verstappen, I think he had 1 hard, 1 medium, and 1 soft. And he was going to wait till the last minute to try to. Ooh, what was that? And see if he can get to say he didn't pitch like the last couple laps, and he was just trying to wait till the last minute to see if something would happen. And ultimately, same Mercedes. Mercedes was waiting till the last minute to see if anything was going to happen. Like, George got a penalty pretty much for cutting the chicane, which everybody was like, okay, he's going to get a penalty anyway. He got a 5-second penalty, but he ended up getting a drive-through, which didn't really matter. He was ahead of Albon anyway after the drive-through. I think Monaco is one of the things where I think between the Triple Crowns of Monaco, Indy, and Le Mans, Indy and Le Mans are more fun to watch for racing purposes. Indy's gotten harder because even people talk about Indy passing, there's not really a good way to pass on Indy, but at least there's entertaining. But yeah, we'll see. I watched the first 50-something laps and I kind of watched the rest of it later, but I was like, yeah, this is not really fun. Monaco's a weird track to watch play out. They go to Barcelona next weekend, so they're going to be in Spain, and Spain will be more fun because they have Catalunya is a fun track. So this will be their last part of the triple header they've done for this week. I think they take like a week off or something because they go to I think they go to Belgium before or it's either they go to Belgium before some break or after summer break. I forget how that calendar works out, but it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle certain things. But yeah, it was a fun race. I think the 2 pit stops, what the FI was trying to do to make it entertaining, and even how the drivers said it. The drivers were like, this is not really entertaining, and this is really just kind of a way to manufacture entertainment. Don't. This is kind of just stupid. Don't do it. And they were trying to be kind of more diplomatic about it because they can't really say what they're actually thinking. Even Max was like, "You could just do Mario Kart at this point, then, and just have banana," you know, kind of tongue in cheek. But he was just saying like, "You could do Mario Kart and had bananas and stuff, and that's more fun than what we were doing there." So even the drivers didn't think it was that interesting to race on. But yeah, we'll see how the rest of the the last part of the triple header ends up. Because I think the last part of the triple header is going to be the most fun one.
Time penalty is 2.2 seconds.
What? How did I get? I'll back it up. I figured I was going to get one. I get forward. I'll just back it up all the way. That won't last long. But well, I think Monaco's gonna get. I think it will get better. I think the qualifying is still one of the best qualifyings of the year, but practice is fun. Outside of that, I think the race itself is always just boring, and it's not something people really want to watch. But on the flip side, look at Indy, and this is gonna be really interesting. What I'm about to tell you. Indy kind of started off weird because it rained. It rained. It didn't rain hard. It was light rain, so Indy is weird because they can't really go on an oval. They can't do racing normally because they don't have the tire for it. They have wet tires, but a wet tire on an oval is just kind of dangerous as the speeds are going. So they waited out. They did finally start going. Then ultimately, Scott McLaughlin on his warm-up lap, the second warm-up lap, crashed into the pit wall. The main straight pit wall going towards turn 1 when he was trying to warm his tires. He's out of the race. Marco Andretti gets out of the race on the first lap. The first couple minutes were just weird. We had a caution about a third of the way through. There's more rain had fell. That rain wasn't actually heavy rain, it was light, so they had a safety car. Safety car where he's just just making sure they don't have to really change anything for that. So that passes. We got a good amount of green flag lap racing. Green flag lap racing was actually good. I will say between the three, and me and my former Ray, Drew was talking about this. We kind of talked about which one we want to go to, and it's funny, he said Monaco, and I said, yeah, I actually want to go Le Mans, like Le Mans or Indy, and I ultimately said Indy because I think Indy has more fun, like, atmosphere, but Le Mans is also that same atmosphere, and I think you could actually do Monaco and Le Mans pretty much within the same like month because they're in the same area. One's in in France, the other's near France, so you have all the same like venues and things. I think Indy's just more fun because they do so much more with the concerts, and they have Carp Day, and I think it's just Monaco would just be fun just to go for the one time, and I think Le Mans would just be fun because you get to see the history and get to be around those cars and things. But at the same time, we were talking about like Indy racing wise and Le Mans racing wise is better than Monaco, hands down. And I think that's the thing. Monaco hasn't kept that reputation of being good racing, even though Indy like you thought. And I think we were talking about if you thought Le Mans was, or you thought Monaco was bad yesterday, Indy kind of made up for that multiple times. And literally at points it was like, okay, what just happened? And things just kind of happened without you thinking about it. Rinus VeeKay was coming to the pits. He spun, hit the wall. Rossi came to the pits. He was getting stuff done, but then his car caught in flames because they were trying to put gas in it, and then that just all happened. And then Schwartzman came to the pits, almost ran over his pit crew, which was even more scary. It's just kind of like it was people on the edge, and it was like you're at the edge of like just doing racing, and it's just kind of like, oh, this is getting kind of scary, kind of sketchy. Ultimately, throughout this, Joseph Newgarden was going through the field like nothing, like a knife through butter. Like he was at the top 20s by the time we got to lap like 70. And once we get to lap 70, it was like, oh, okay, this man's gonna be in the top. He was in the top 15 when we get to lap 80, and then by the time we get to halfway point took a little bit to get there. We barely got to halfway point by 2 o'clock, by like 1:30. I was just like, okay, he's gonna catch up. And then we had Stingray Rob go on the wall. Kyle Larson got out because he gave the wall. We had so many issues. It was so weird because I think when it rained last year, it made for chaos anyway because of cooler temperatures, and they've been racing in cooler temperatures. The cooler temperatures, the better conditions, and even when they were practicing, they were in mostly sunshine. So India's thrown up some curveballs, but last year's, I think the thing about the curveballs last couple of years is like they're just pushing to the edge like anything, and it's just kind of really interesting. I think it was interesting because Pelot was doing well, stayed out of trouble, kept up, and then even Dixon had brake issues from earlier. Newgarden was doing well, and I mentioned like Newgarden could have made it up to the field, but ultimately he had fuel issues, fuel pressure issues, basically like fuel can't get in the car kind of thing. And then just at that point, once Newgarden could win, it was basically Dixon. You basically had, once Newgarden win, once Dixon was done, you basically had Takuma Sato, but Sato had a pit stop issue. Most people had pit stop issues. Pit stop issues was the big thing of the weekend. I believe that race. Outside crashing, hit some crashes, like a couple crashes. I will also say it was funny to me to see that, you know, Penske was in the back row. You know, the whole controversy with the attenuator and missing with safety equipment. The whole controversy with the fact you had a lot of other like things where they fired their team head, their GM, and then one other person, and it was just kind of like, okay, will Penske just drive in anger to try to win this and show everybody, oh no, we're still good. And then Alex Pelot, like they call him, he's called Sergeant. Townsend called him that. He's methodical. He knows what he needs to do. And then, you know, my former rate was talking like he did that too early. He did that pass way too early. And Ericsson could never do anything about it. Ericsson could never do anything about it once Pelot made that pass like 10 laps ago. Yeah, the blue flag rule is in Formula 1 to make car pass. In Indy, actually, or for IndyCar, it's not a. You don't have to do it. You just have to.
Time penalty is 0.5 seconds.
You just have to acknowledge it, but you don't have to move because you have the right to fight for your being lead lap. So you don't have to get past. And ultimately, when Pelot made that not dive bomb, but like when he made that pass to get in that gap, Ericsson had the gas, he had the fuel, he had everything. It was no doubt he was gonna win. But Ericsson couldn't make the pass back to get the win, And it's funny, they talked about when Pelot was in the 2021? Yeah, 2021 Grand Prix, Indy 500, and Tony Kanaan. Or no, not Tony. Elio Castroneves was in front. He was in front. Pelot was behind. Pelot could have won that race, but Elio kind of kept him at bay using breaking the toe, breaking the slipstream, keeping him at a speed, at a pace, at a distance where he can still fight. So ultimately, Pelot used those same tactics against Ericsson to win that race. And ultimately, it just put. I mean, I'm a Pelot fan. I've been a Chip Ganassi fan. Like, they do good work. Chip Ganassi is one of the better teams. Pitsy's a good team. I think it's funny because I think it is hard to do the Triple Crown now unless you have the ability to do. You could do IMSA, you could do Le Mans, and you could do Indy pretty easily. It's the Monaco part that's the hardest because you need to get into F1. Road America. Okay. But I feel like S class. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna go tires. I'm gonna just do a lot of racing stuff for this car now because I have the racing ability. Actually, since I have the racing ability, I'm gonna go race tires. Yep, race tires. Engine. Yes, but gonna make it all race. All race. That's the easy one. I think the drivetrain's gonna be easy because that's clutch. Race transmission. Race diff. There's arrow. Ooh, I don't need race arrow, do I? Ooh, I can get race error. Okay. And then a front bumper. Okay, I'll do that. I'm gonna just make this car kind of funny. That looks good. Oh, that's a street hood, so it's not really a race hood, but okay. Wait. Ooh, I can actually upgrade the engine? 250R. What's the standard engine? So what's this engine make it? Acceleration, braking, and handling. So handling would be worse with this in. Handling would be better. Handling would be better, and brakes would stay the same. Okay. Actually, need to go back to brakes. That's what I was gonna do. Let's go full. Oh, I can't do full race reduction, but I can do sport reduction. And then brakes, I can do full race brakes. There we go, and we're good. Okay, I had the money, so I'm not too worried about it. But also I think when Polo made that final pass, and we and my friend were watching it, he was a little ahead of me because I was watching YouTube TV on my Xbox and he was watching on the actual TV. You could tell that Polo was gonna win, and then the ending crash at the end really solidified that, oh, he definitely won that. And it's like, it was funny because you could Eric's in motion. He knew he had the race in the back, but he couldn't do anything about it. He basically had nothing he could do about it. He was just there. He was just gonna have to. He couldn't even pass. He knew there was something he could do. So it was just kind of like. But the raw emotion, Meyer Shank did really well. You had Takuma Sato doing well for RLL. You had a lot of people do well. Even Paddle Award did well. And Paddle Award wasn't really going to be up there, but I think Paddle Award was there just enough.
Overtaking there difficult without plenty of horsepower, so it's a great place to find a car to draft behind.
I also feel like too, if RLL did, I think Meyer Shank and RLL was going to do well regardless. Even AJ Foyt Racing did well, and I think that kind of tells you that even though it's a spec series, the teams are getting better at what they're doing. I think we're gonna see a lot more. And yes, I know people are talking about Pelos. Pelos won 5 of his last races. Last time it's happened, AJ Foyt was that last time it happened. AJ Foyt in 1979. Whoa, he brakes. He brakes. I feel like if that was the case, you know, yes, is he dominating IndyCar? Yeah, but I think David Land said it best, and I think a lot of people say it best. You're watching history being made. If history's being made, you can say you're a part of history, seeing history in IndyCar, even seeing history in like F1. I know Max dominated 2023, but it was history. Like, and yeah, people didn't like Max winning all the time. I think people are gonna get tired of McLaren wins all the time, which they're not. But if McLaren wins the majority of the races and then winning the championship, the constructors again and winning the drivers, we're gonna say the same thing. McLaren's just gonna be that dominant team again. Yeah, but I also think it's not their fault. It's just the way things played. So I'm like, okay, just understand. You know what you're doing. You know what you're going to end up looking at. I think I was still at below. He's tried to win this race a couple times. He's never won an oval. First oval race. I think the super speedway racing for IndyCar is so different because they don't have the ability to do some other things. The weird ring, and I will agree with Drew, looks really weird for speedway racing. The other ring's more for street racing. It feels like they're gonna do the race in Texas. When they do the race in Texas, they're gonna have a little more interesting things with that. Over. I like this engine. I like the sound of this engine actually. This is, I think, the conversion of the engine. The top of A, top of S actually. You know, seeing with his little baby, seeing with his wife, and just Chip, and it. You know, he was excited, and it was just like, okay, he won a very good race, and it was just, yes, the race chaos. Yes, is there not a lot of passing? Yes, is it a little much at times when you're seeing a lot of things happen? And like everybody says, isn't the old saying, cautions breed cautions? Yeah. So a caution could breed other cautions. That's what ended up happening. The rain one was kind of weird because I don't think the rain one should have been a thing. I think the rain one should have just been normally, okay, here's what happened, just let it be. But yeah, it was so much fun. I think between the two races, I think Indy was the fun of the race. And Carlos did really well. I think he did better than I expected. And I think he wasn't going to win the race, but he did really well. And I think if he ever does a double again, or tries for it again, he will make it further. Because I think he'll have that understanding and practice. Let's go to the race. I also feel like eventually, I think a lot of IndyCar drivers might go to NASCAR, but I think more NASCAR drivers will go do Indy. And I think you'll see a lot of more Formula 1 drivers try Indy. Former Formula 1 drivers, former people that knew this race. So it's like, it's not easy, but it's not going to ever be, it's going to take time. You know, to get up to speed, learn everything, and try to be at the top. A little bit off the line, not bad. Yeah, I'm faster than most of these cars actually, which is also kind of annoying, kind of funny because you can upgrade it so high. Ooh. I had to brake early for that because you had to brake super early. All right, good. There we go. Brake, 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 brake. But out of the two races, I think if you wanted to go back and watch one, I think it's the IndyCar race. The IndyCar race was more fun. The IndyCar race had more intrigue. Pelot winning was so cool. I think his emotions, the way he celebrated his team, because he always gives the team the credit, because I think that team, strong team, does everything well. And I think that team just has, when they're on, they're on. And I think that's the thing, they've always been on. Chip Ganassi and that team has been on. Dixon team's always on. Dixon's well known for like being one of the best at fuel saving, and just like, but Pelot fuel saved a lot. You can tell they were fuel saving, but it's also hard because you're never gonna build a IndyCar that has enough fuel they can hold for a lot longer stints. Even NASCAR doesn't have that much fuel in their cars, and they can't fuel. They have to fuel save. The corkscrew. Or the carousel. It's not. Go. Only 9th place. This is gonna be hard. But don't rush it. I can get around. I think I can get around. Get around. Good. Ooh, I wasn't. Nope, I wasn't trying to hit him. Canada corner, which is actually really cool. Go side by side through Canada corner, and then you can kind of go side by side through this. Yeah, so I have more power. So basically, once I do this, then I can just kind of cruise for a bit. Nope, nope, nope. This is where I have to stop. I can brake a little earlier, but I have the ability to get around. I like this already, the Audi. Oh, yeah, I'm a full like 3 seconds ahead of them. Yep. Right. Got through. Yep. Over the. Yep, 1.5. So I'm doing well. Definitely kind of. I love road bangers, of course, though. It's so much fun to drive. One lap left. Let's go.
Last lap.
But like 1.2. I'm pretty much keeping a small gap. Nope. Do that. Oh, the track lights came on. I've never seen that. And then my car lights came on right after that. Kind of cool. There you go.
Well done.
All right. One more race. The last race. Ooh, Lamar. Oh, just 2 laps. Okay, that's actually not bad. I don't think we can upgrade anymore. Nope, we can't. Continue.
The 2 chicanes in the Mulsanne straight were installed to lower everyone's overall straight line speed, but neither will ruin your lap times if you focus on your entry point so you can exit quickly.
Let's go. We'll start practice. Okay. I'm already going 189, almost 200. It's so weird where you're going from that speed to almost like 45. Just, yep. Yep. Yep, this is the indie part of that term. It's like the thinking for indie. Yep. Alright, let's do this last race. Should be fun. Yeah, medium tire. Only 2 laps, but I'll do 5. Go. This is where I'm gonna probably gain a lot because I'm just that strong. Tap the brakes there, tap the brakes, tap the brakes, tap the brakes. Right, down the first straight. Let's see what can you do. Oh yeah, slipstream's powerful. I forgot how fast the slipstream is. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I was not prepared for that. I'm already in third, and that didn't even do anything because that slipstream's not powerful. Go.
Go.
Let's go. Yeah, with this, actually, with Lamar course, you can actually take out the little chicanes and just make full-on straight. It's actually really fun. But the little corners help. I think and since I'm on the medium tire, it's a little less bumpy. One lap left. Let's go. Doing well. Couldn't get across. Gotta take the loss. 14. Oh, I like the sound of the last little bit of this lap in the pit, in the cockpit. Driver's seat. Okay. Try again. There we go. Yeah, I might have the back tires. Up. 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 Nope.
Nicely done.
Alright. Not bad. Ooh, completed Spirit of Forza Motorsport 3. Got that. Exit. Yeah, got the new. I think the new. Yep, new race suit. And there it is, Forza Motorsport 3. I like that color, the black with the like red. So good. But I'm going to stream right there. I do thank you for watching. Hope you did enjoy. That was the finish up of the Forza Motorsport 3. We're going to wait for a couple days to get the next one, and then we'll go from there. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the ending. This is a good little tour. This is a longer tour for the anniversary thing, but I think it works. I think it's fun. It's simple. Just has so many interesting things they could do with it, and I think it's one of those things where I think Forza Motorsport and the Horizon games are so different. Forza Motorsport is more your sim racer or your racing style. Horizon's more your sandbox mode. And I think with the next Horizon game, sandbox mode is going to be really interesting how they do that, but we'll see overall with that in due time. But I'll be back tomorrow. I think it comes out tonight into tomorrow. I think that's how it works for F1, but I have to double check. If it's not out tomorrow, what we'll do, we'll probably play either Claire or we'll probably play some Call of Duty. Probably Claire, get some more Claire stuff done. Have a little bit of time to play Claire. And then on Wednesday, definitely Wednesday, we're going to play some more F1 2025. Start that as well. So look forward to that. And then on the weekend, Claire and Doom as always. But I do thank you for watching. Hope you did enjoy and hope we're hear from next time. See you.